Hi everyone, and today I'm going to talk to you about how to navigate scientific research. Let's start. About this, I just wrote an article on Medium, which you guys will find the link down below. When we examine scientific studies, and this is particularly true for the fitness and nutrition and supplementation world. Okay, it is essential to assess the methods that were utilized with care. Okay, scientific evidence usually has a spectrum and it goes from the lower end with anecdotal reports and personal experiences, which lacking the scientific rigor are the less reliable, and on the other end of the spectrum, the highest the studies with the most reliability are systematic reviews and meta-analysis. Okay, these usually incorporate a lot of studies and extrapolate evidence from all these studies to support a certain claim that they want to make about a specific topic. Okay, in the middle, we find randomized controlled trials, which can include, for instance, observational research. And we'll talk about this later on. However, there are always certain challenges in research, and the first one you guys can imagine is cost related. So research costs a lot of money, and this is because when you often want to investigate a topic, it's going to be in a lab, and so you have to enroll a certain number of participants, and they need to commit, to that lab setting. So usually you'll find maybe these are college students most often, and this is why they often don't reflect real life, and real world factors and complexities that we often subjected to. So, in the context of fitness and nutrition, you might want to investigate muscle hypertrophy, all right? And you always find that more sets per muscle group per week usually equals usually yields more hypertrophy per week. All right, maybe in the context of real life factors, this does not always apply. And that is because if there's an individual who needs to look after his business, his family, is already stressed out, all right, he has so many things to watch over. Maybe training is that one other factor that is actually going to impair his ability to rest well and recover. So it's another stress factor, that it adds on. And it doesn't always translate to more is better. Okay, when you guys see this lab setting, when they enroll people in the lab and so on, those are like perfect conditions replicated and don't always apply to real life. Okay, so what you want to look for, it's be aware of short-term focus. So, for instance, those studies which are conducted in a limited time frame and they don't extend over a substantial period of time that you can actually extrapolate real data from it. All right. Those are going to be longitudinal studies, and these are often carried out over years, and they require kind of substantial resources. All right, that sample size, how many individuals we're talking about, because 5-10 individuals is probably not going to be enough to make a relevant support to what we're trying to extrapolate from the study. And additionally, examine the whole study design. As I said before, systematic reviews and meta-analysis often incorporate multiple studies, which is good because you want to have consistency, in a finding. And this can be from previous research as well. Always be skeptical of extreme claims. Back at the university, the first thing that I learned was that science is not black and white. We always studies always support or suggest. Okay, they don't make bold claims. That's often news media. Okay. one other factor, especially in observational study, understand the difference between correlation and causation. In an observational studies, I can look at two factors, okay, two variables, and I establish a correlation between the two, but I cannot establish a relationship of cause and effect. For instance, in obese individuals, I always observe that whenever obesity is present, there is always the presence of some degree of a cardiovascular disease, all right? I cannot establish from that observation alone that obesity is the cause of cardiovascular disease. Why? Because maybe obesity indirectly influences other factors that actually are conducive to cardiovascular disease. Also, there might be other instances and other confounding variables where this sample size may share that actually are these underlying factor causing the cardiovascular diseases, and so it's not obesity in the first place. This is just an example to give you guys a little bit of context about the difference between correlation and causation. Therefore, because of this, you always want to look for consistency in wherever you're trying to investigate. Okay? Ultimately, I just want to say the experience is good because it's almost 9 billion people on the face of the earth, and each and every one of us has genetic variability in this regard. So whatever you're trying to extrapolate from these studies, always adapt on yourself. And this is particularly true for fitness and nutrition. So if you guys want to know more, please leave a comment down below, and I'm gonna leave you guys the link to the article, okay, that I just wrote. Thank you.